Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sandy Jones Show with me, Sandy Jones, and today we're here to talk about yesterday's unbelievably tense, unbelievably crazy roller coaster of a match that was 3-2 against Nottingham Forest away. So first of all, before we start, thank you very much for tuning into this video. Also, thank you very much to the new subscribers who have joined the channel. It's really great to have you here. I'm reading all your comments and it really means a lot to me. So thank you very much. Keep liking, subscribing and getting involved with the content. So let's start then. Yesterday, what an absolute mission of a game to watch. We started off pretty well. I'd say we started off pretty well. The first few minutes was a lightning start. You know, we were shooting on all cylinders. We were really going for it. And the first goal is absolutely brilliant. What a pass from Cole Palmer. What a ridiculously good season he's having. Another assist. And he just threads it through around the outside into the path of Mudryk. And this is exactly what I want to see Mudryk doing, is what he's actually good at, you know, the attributes that he has, which is this lightning quick pace, the cut inside, and the finish. This is the key. So he did what he does a lot, which is to get the ball, run a little bit, beat a player, and then shoot. But this time he actually finished, and that is again. I think we were going to come back on this theme a lot in this video today with these players. That it's that cutting edge in the final third, that last 10% that has been missing a little bit this season, that we're now genuinely seeing over the last few games. So good to see him score and to celebrate, and that's just absolutely amazing. The Chelsea end looked like it was absolutely buzzing. They had like the whole, behind the goal, and what an explosion when he scores. So I'm watching this, I'm thinking, cool, we're 1-0 up, we're all over these guys. Let's get a second goal, let's get a third goal, call it halftime, and then smooth sailing. Would have been nice, would have been nice. What actually happened? We let Nottingham Forest back in the game. So again, this keeps happening. You know, every single match there seems to be a good Chelsea section, a good few touches, a goal, an assist, whatever it is, and then we kind of just drop off. This has happened a lot more away from home recently. To be fair, the home form has truly picked up, but it just seems like we almost get excited that we scored a goal and then we just forget the basics a little bit. And again, set pieces. It's so frustrating to watch this team concede. That was the 60th goal of the season that we've conceded. It's like by far a record. I think the most we've ever conceded in the modern Premier League era was something like 50 or 55, and that was a disastrous season as well. So 60 goals conceded, and there's still 2 games to play. So just an unacceptable amount of goals. And I'm not sure how many are the goals from free kicks. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments, but that is way too many goals to be conceding. And these set pieces, so Nottingham Forest get a set piece, I'm just thinking they're going to score. Like, that's how I feel when we're defending set pieces. They're going to whip it in, a big tall guy is going to jump up in the air and he's going to bury it. And that's exactly what happened. I almost felt like I tempted fate by thinking that. How can one of the tallest people on the pitch be completely wide open to head it in on the penalty spot at a set piece? Whatever the tactics are, whether it's zonal, whether it's man, whether it's whatever it is, whoever's doing that, this is like 101 stuff that you teach, you know, high schoolers. Here's the plan. We need to make sure that the tall guy can't head it in the goal. I'm being facetious, but it just seems like we've conceded the same goal what feels like 20, 30 times this season. It's absolutely mental. Anyway, so we go into the break having conceded, so it's 1-1, and it's all kind of Forest and then Chelsea, Forest and then Chelsea. It's quite back and forth, very open game, hugely enjoyable, I'm sure, for any neutrals who are watching this. Like, what a game of football it was. But we go into the break, and it's 1-1. And I kind of just feel like, just looking at my notes here from the game, yeah, we had a good chance from Jackson. He had this chance where he was sort of winding and weaving his way through, and then he gets to the very end and he fluffs the finish. Again, it's that kind of like not quite the cutting edge that we need, but all the other stuff that's happening in the periphery, the passing, the dribbling, the interplay, that's all kind of coming together. It's that last little 10% that he needs to work on. He's strong, he can hold the ball up, he can turn, he can link up with other players. We just want him to finish his dinner, basically. And we'll get on to later in the game, because this had a good ending, thankfully. So we tried our best to play out of the back. You know, we were doing this system that has been working over the last couple of games, Cucurella inverting into midfield. He seemed to get the ball all the time. I saw him kind of constantly on the ball, passing it, running around, and he's so comfortable in possession. You can tell that this guy comes from the Barcelona academy. You know, they're all about possession play and linking up, and he's so comfortable in that role. I said this in the last video, it seems to me absolutely mental that it's taken 34 games to see him doing that, even though that's one of his skills, one of his strengths. That's why Man City were after him as well. So why we waited 34 games to do that, and now we've had success in it in the last 2 games, it seems like a no-brainer, but good to see him doing it again. But it was to no positive end for a while. You know, we just kept having these sort of half chances, and then they were getting lots of chances. And like I said, then we go into the break. Before the break, I forgot to mention, there was a moment where Mudryk is having a bit of argy-bargy with some of the Nottingham players. Actually, one particular one, I think he might be a South American guy. And they were just in each other's ears and so on. And you could see that this is kind of escalating. The refs come over, he's warned them, and I could just imagine Mudryk kind of losing his head a little bit. And there you go, you see Conor Gallagher pop up, captain duties, and he just has a little word in Mudryk's ear and kind of calms the situation down, and then he goes away again. So again, we're seeing like glimpses of a really, really good you know, team dynamic. It's totally okay to get riled up. It's totally okay to get you know, passionate and to feel you know, angry or annoyed when someone's kind of nibbling at you. I'm sure that this guy, Mudryk, has a lot of pressure on him as well, like the players on the other team picking at his heels and so on. He is a tricky speed and reaction player. So, and he does have quite a hot head, admittedly, but there you go, this captain vibe from Gallagher is exactly what we need. And it's another reason why I really, really hope that these owners don't sell him. I'm not his hugest fan. I don't think he's the best footballer in the world. I don't think that we should 100% build the team around him per se, but to let this guy go just for cash profit, I know it's a big but just for cash profit. We need to balance the books, but it seems absolutely criminal to let this guy go when he's exhibiting the exact leadership qualities that we're going to go out and try and buy anyway from a young, perhaps more unproven talent from elsewhere. So, you know, just every little glimpse of Gallagher that I see tells me that he has the qualities to at least be vice captain or captain for a long time, and to definitely play a part in the squad, whether it's starting, you know, half the games and off the bench, or more than that or less than that, but just to have him around the team. He's good. He's someone that we should definitely try to keep. We also saw something really cool, which was Caicedo a couple of times had a few really nice through balls from deep in midfield into the attacking third. So that's something that you don't often see from a deep-lying defensive midfielder. I remember always, of course, the legend Makelele, Makelele's ukulele, if you know, you know. This guy used to easily win the ball back. He literally defined this role. They call it the Makelele role because of how successful he was at it. Same with John Obi Mikel. He slotted in perfectly to be his long-term replacement. And those two guys were so good at recovering the ball and then just passing it laterally a couple of yards to a more creative playmaker to do something with it. Whether that was Lampard or Deco or, Ballack or anyone else who had a bit more kind of know-how on the ball. But this guy Caicedo, I think it's underrated how good he is at passing the ball forward. There was one chance we had where he gets the ball and he does a kind of chip diagonal loft through a couple of defenders into the penalty box, perfectly weighted, and Palmer gets on the end of it and has a chance. And I saw that and I was just like, wow, let's have more of that. Imagine a team where Caicedo's firing on all cylinders, he's properly motivated and feeling good. And he's not only doing that defensive work, mopping up and getting the ball back, but also spraying it forward with these really, really strong, intricate passes. He's got a vision for the other side of the pitch for the goal, which is absolutely fantastic to see. And then again, we have a really positive situation, I would say, considering how the season has gone and how everything has panned out in the games where we've conceded and we're disappointed and we go in at halftime not thinking that we're going to win, thinking that perhaps we're going to lose or at least drop 2 points. I've always said this season, why are the subs coming on so late? Pochettino seemed to have a problem changing things up at the 50th minute or the 60th minute. There was times where we were 2-3-0 down or 3-1 down, and he wouldn't change anything until 75th or 80th minute. And it's just too late. You can't bring people on to affect the game and to really change things that late on. If it does change that late on, it's usually just because of luck or an amazing piece of skill or something like that. What you can do is get the subs on early and really affect the game, and that's exactly what he did. So I think it was around about the 55 minutes. We were still 1-1, and he put on Nkunku, and he put on Malo Gusto. So great to see them both back from injury. I think our injury list went down from 14 to 6 or something like that before the match, which is, huge. Imagine what this squad is going to be like next year, hopefully when that number goes down to 1 or 2 or none. Maybe because we sold them all. But when this team is fully fit, I think we've got a hell of a squad here. We just really need to get these guys back and playing. So really nice to see Gusto back. He looked lively and buzzing around the pitch. And Nkunku, again, like he didn't... I wouldn't say he lit the heather on fire, to be honest, but he just has this presence. He comes on and you just feel like, okay, that's a quality player. The way he moves, the way he links up. He was the top scorer in the Bundesliga for a reason. It's not exactly an easy feat to do that. He's so young and he's so much, potential ahead of him, and he's already looking really good. So really great to see him come on. And I was just like, wow. Fair play, Pochettino, 55 minutes and you've completely changed the dynamic of the team. Let's see if that's going to help us to kick on and win the game. Classic Chelsea, isn't it? This season, you think that we're taking a few steps forward and we end up taking a few steps back. What happens after we make those subs? Forest have a couple of breakaway chances following our consistently decent attacks. We can't seem to get the ball in the net. And then, of course, what happens is they break quickly, which is what they're good at. They're very fast. They pass the ball out to ex-Chelsea player Hudson-Odoi on the left, and he does what Hudson-Odoi does. He does the thing that caused Bayern Munich to want to buy him from Chelsea when he was a youngster for a crazy fee, which we pushed back on because we also knew how good he is at what he does, which is to trick the defender, dummy, cut inside, either shoot with the first moment or delay it for another second and then shoot, and then finish it into the corner. The first time he did it, he came so close to scoring. And I was like, oh my God, we all knew that's what he was going to do. He did it, he's going to score, and luckily he missed. So I thought to myself, I really hope that this team, as much as I love Malo Gusto, especially Malo Gusto, knows not to let this guy cut inside, do a trick, and finish into the far corner. And what happens? Literally 3 minutes later, he breaks down the wing, he cuts inside, he dummies, he pauses, and he finishes it in the corner. Every single Chelsea fan could have told you the 2 goals that we were conceding today. A goal from the free kick, from a set piece, where a tall defender was not picked up and had a free header into the goal. And the second, the ex-Chelsea player, Calum Hudson-Odoi, cutting inside and finishing in the far corner. The opposite Iron Robin, let's say, coming in from the right coming in from the left instead of the right. So, first of all, I actually really liked Hudson-Odoi when he was a Chelsea player. I always wanted him to do well. I thought it was such a shame that he couldn't, for whatever reason, whether it was his side or the club side, show his true potential and skill when he was at the club. And there's no, it's a huge accolade to be coveted by a team like Bayern, who only buy the best. And who only look for potential in the future. You know, the players that they bought around about that time include the likes of Leroy Sané, Kingsley Coman, I think, Alphonso Davies. You know, these guys have pushed on to be some of the best players in the world that they bought young. I think Sané was already a little bit more proven. But anyway, Hudson-Odoi does what Hudson-Odoi does, and he just does it really well, and he just made Gusto look very average, and Gusto is actually a solid right back, but he just played around him as if he wasn't there and finished in the corner. And to be fair, this whole thing about players celebrating, right? I actually don't mind a player to celebrate a goal, any goal. You know, imagine you're a footballer, you're trying your best to score a goal. Yes, you're playing against the club that used to hire you, but if you score a goal, you should be happy that you scored a goal. Especially, you should celebrate with your fans and your the players around you. I think there is perhaps a certain level of etiquette that could be respected. You know, you can't expect someone to respect it, but this guy, I think, did the perfect celebration to this end, where it was a little bit muted. He just went to the sideline, he just held his head, and he just looked into the crowd, and everyone had this moment together. And great for Nottingham. That's a great goal for them. It's a great goal for him in his career. He's done that a couple times now this season in the last few games. So good for him, happy for him. But oh my God, what a nightmare that is for Chelsea. It's, I think, roughly the 70th minute, was it? Or the 65th, 70th minute when that happened. And if you look at the playbook of what we've been like this season, at that point, we might as well just wrap up and go home, because we're not going to draw this game and we're not going to win this game. We've already made our subs. It's not working. It's not caused the goal yet. And we've just conceded not only is it a goal to make it 2-1, it's a guy that we let go from our team for £5 million, which is absolutely nothing in today's market. And he's just come back to haunt us, which is just what happens in football, isn't it? It's like an absolutely incredible thing that constantly happens, is that players come back to haunt their older teams. I don't know what it is. Is it fate? Is it just what makes this one of the best sports to watch ever in the world? Who knows? You tell me. Why is it that so many players score against their old clubs? Maybe they're just especially up for it. Maybe they can feel the energy of their team wanting them to score against their old club. I don't know what it is, like Frank Lampard did it so many times for Chelsea against West Ham. He even scored against us in the game that he played for with City at the Etihad. These things happen all the time. Maybe that's actually a video. Let me know if you want to see this video to look at the best goals from players scoring against their old clubs, because that could be 100 long list of goals, and what a crazy phenomenon. So Nkunku comes on, And we have Jackson, Nkunku, and Palmer, and Sterling sort of. They were quite fluid, I think. At some points, I saw Jackson on the right. At some point, I saw him up top. I saw Nkunku dropping deep. And it was quite cool to see, like, again, when this team really starts gelling, hopefully next season, once we haven't got all these injuries and we've got a bit more momentum that we're now picking up, what a front three, what a front four we have. And there's other players that we haven't even really touched on today. Mudryk, I think, had a decent game. He had a couple of good runs, not his best, but we've got the seeds of a very, very good squad here. And we had a chance again, a set piece, and there he is, the big man, Thiago Silva, with the perfectly timed run. So the free kick was going to be taken, but it was a dummy just to get everyone moving. And then Palmer whips it in from the right on his left foot. Thiago Silva knows that there's going to be that slight delay. He holds his run, times it perfectly, glances the header from one side of the box all the way to the other, and it hits the post. And I'm like, this is just not going to be our day. This is absolutely crazy. We can't score a goal since our first goal. So I'm already resigned. I'm effing and blinding, like most Chelsea fans, probably just feeling absolutely deflated on this. And then we have our moment. So Pochettino, I think, has been fairly criticised this season for not just the way that he sets up his teams and not just the way that he seems to do these kind of late subs and these things I've mentioned already in the video, but also, I don't know, there's just something about his body language in the first half of the season where we would be trailing or, drawing 0-0 or 1-1 in a game. And you just feel like you need some leadership, like a manager, to be. What are we used to? We're used to the likes of Mourinho, Ancelotti, Conte, even the managers that weren't successful. Just ignore. I've got a couple of cats in the background. Even the ones that didn't do as well as those. You see them on the side of the pitch, animated, doing things, trying to communicate with the players. You see them waving their arms around a lot, saying like, "You guys go this way, yeah, back in, do that," screaming. The extreme end of this is Diego Simeone in Atletico Madrid, who basically plays the game with the players. He's going crazy and screaming. I'm not saying that Poch needs to do all of that, but that first half of the season, I swear to God, every single game, he would sit in the dugout with his arms folded like this. We could be 1-0 down, we could be 2-0 down, and he would sit like this until the 75th minute, making no subs, just watching. And I'm not a football coach. I don't know exactly what to do. I'm sure that he has, he's a professional coach, and I understand that covets some kind of respect. But if what you're showing me is that this is what you're doing, that says to me that you're kind of indifferent, or at least that there's a slight element of your coaching style that is passive. And I'm half Latino myself. I can imagine that he's actually quite like a firecracker. This guy's Argentinian, I want him to be on the side of the pitch, leading the charge and getting people motivated and excited. And that's what he was doing in this game. So it's, again, I just keep thinking to myself, why has it taken 34, 35, 36 games to see the best of you, to see the best of your coaching, to see the best of your tactics, to see you actually on the side of the pitch, seemingly caring about the game? Why has it taken so long? Mental. So Sterling comes on, and I've been one of the people who's been quite critical about Sterling all season. I don't know if we should keep him, to be honest, because he's on such high wages. If we can get a big transfer windfall for selling him, I probably would. But having him as an impact sub, rather than someone who's keeping one of these young, hungry lions out of the team, somewhat not on merit, in my opinion. He wasn't good enough or playing well enough, consistently enough to keep that position for as long as he had it in this season. But when he comes on as a sub, he's really good. He's really dangerous. And he's had a couple of really good games against Nottingham Forest. Maybe there's something about the defenders that he likes playing against them. But he looked lively, and he did his own version of the Hudson-Odoi Iron Robben special. Tricky, down the left wing, cuts inside, perfect finish. The Chelsea end erupts. I'm looking around, I'm thinking, VAR is going to jump in. This can't be real. We've gone 2-1 down to a ex-Chelsea player, and here we are with Sterling, who's been so average this season, popping up with only his 7th goal, but what an important goal this is. And with 10 minutes to go, it's now 2-2, and we've got all the momentum. I'm thinking, wow, this is absolutely mental. This is not what I was expecting the game to unfold like. What a turnaround. Really great. Again, this is just more of the Chelsea that I wish we had been seeing from the beginning of the season in terms of the setup, the tactics, the energy, the vibe. Maybe it needed to take this long to get here, but it just doesn't. It seems like such a shame that we're fighting for these scraps, these last few points at the end of the season to climb up into the Europe spots when we should have just been playing like this 10, 15 games ago. And before Sterling came on, we also saw Reece James come on. And oh my God, what a nice thing that is to see our club captain, Chelsea through and through. He's been so unlucky with injuries, this guy. He had a recurring injury. He's finally had the surgery. We haven't seen him for months. So it's really nice to see him come on. The ovation that he got from the Chelsea fans was absolutely brilliant. And what a player, what a guy to have back in the squad. And I don't know, I'm conflicted because he's now that he's back, is he going to get called up to England? Obviously, I want to see Reece James play for England in the Euros, but at the same time, I just want to protect our, golden guy with cotton wool. I really don't want him to aggravate that injury because we've got a lot of work to do for next season to keep improving and moving forward. And who is it that pops up just after the Sterling goal? Reece James doing what Reece James does, bombing down the right-hand side, flicks in a perfect cross. Now this is, again, solid interplay, quick passing, energetic, vibrant, lively play from Chelsea. It goes out to Reece James and he delivers what can only be said is the perfect cross to the back post. I don't think he's aimlessly shooting at the back post. He knows where Jackson is. He looks up, he sees him, he flicks it. It floats perfectly in the air. And even someone like Jackson, who has struggled to finish goals, this reminded me of the goal he scored against, I think it was Villa, where Gusto just put it on his dome. And it's actually almost impossible to not score it because it's so easy. It's right there. And what does Jackson do? He uses the confidence and the energy that he's built up over the last games, and he bangs it in, heads it down right into the goal. The Chelsea end erupts. We're 3-2 up, having been 2-1 down. What a turnaround. What an emotion. I was in this living room jumping around, screaming. And it's just so nice to see Chelsea really be able to come out of a bad situation. So first of all, to score first, to see Mudryk score, then to concede 2 goals, especially this incredibly emotional, difficult one from Hudson-Odoi, to then completely turn it around through energy, subs, tactics, and quality passing and finishing in the final third. Doesn't get any better if you're a Chelsea fan, given the way that the season's gone so far. And then just at the very end, obviously I was so happy that we scored a goal to make it 3-2, but I look at the clock and I'm like, God, there's still 10 minutes left plus extra time. So, this is, in a way I was like, damn, I wish we'd scored a little bit later because, my God, we had a little bit of a tricky end of the game there. It's always just a little bit shaky with Chelsea. You never know if they're going to concede that last minute goal like we did against Sheffield United, who are, completely out of the season. They're already relegated and we still struggled against them, and we conceded that horrible, horrible late goal after, again, bad tactics and bad subs right at the end of the game. So it was really, really cool to see, despite the fact that it was quite shaky at the end, we did play the game out, and then we got 7 minutes of added time. 7 minutes. I was like, how is this 7 minutes? There wasn't a crazy injury or loads of VAR or anything like that. 7 minutes seemed like a lot. And I think it was about minute 5, minute 6, that Forest broke on us, and they had a chance, and luckily their player just fluffed the shot, and it went up into the sky. We had a moment where Cucurella, I think because he saw the clock said 7 minutes, that it had already been played, and he just boots it out, thinking, cool, blow your whistle, and the ref doesn't blow his whistle. So he's added another 30 seconds, 45 seconds onto the already long 7 minutes. I didn't understand where that long amount of time came from. Like, luckily this game, we didn't have a crazy amount of VAR. There was one VAR check on the Forest goal to make it 1-1. But apart from that, it wasn't a game that we had like 5, 10, 15 minutes of VAR. So I just didn't get where that 7 minutes came from. And my God, was I nervous, kind of thinking, are we going to throw this away? Is this extra time going to give Nottingham Forest the chance that they need to score a goal? And they really almost did. But luckily, they didn't. The game ends. It's 3-2. We've won the game. And scenes in the away end. You know, I've seen videos of them going absolutely crazy. And it was so cool as well to see Reece James and Jackson jump into the crowd after the goal. Like limbs, absolute limbs. And wow, what a turnaround. Also really great to see all the players. This is another little thing that the players haven't really been doing that much of. Coming all to the away end and applauding the fans. It's such an easy thing to do. Always Thiago Silva, usually always Conor Gallagher, a couple of others would come, Palmer. But this was like, it seemed like a cohesive team effort to come out and applaud the fans and be part of the connection with the fans. The fans singing, you know, I'm just standing at the bar with Trevor Chalobah, and then Silva, and then Palmer, and it was just really nice to see. You can really see that this young team is connected to the Chelsea fans, which is awesome. And this is absolutely it. It's kind of we're coming towards the end of the video, but the only thing I wanted to say was I have to touch on the comments made by Pochettino before the game, where he was asked if he is going to stay. And he was quite coy in his response. In fact, I would say a little bit defensive. And he said, not only might the owners might not want me to stay, but maybe my squad and my team of coaches, maybe we don't want to stay. So I get that to a point, because he's obviously flexing a little bit. He's showing his teeth, and he's saying, look, this is a symbiotic thing. Both parties have to be happy. We're all under assessment, but the owners and the management of the club and the hiring process and the transfers and all this stuff is also under assessment by us, the coaching staff. And that's true. That is correct. So I actually support him and his right to say that. But I have to say, there's certain things that if you're trying to build a connection with a fan base who have hesitations about you from the start because you used to be the Spurs manager, I just feel like every single opportunity that this guy gets, he pushes away, and he puts a wall up to the Chelsea fans and to the, you know, the Chelsea culture. I've never seen him once go to the away end and applaud the fans. Such a simple thing to do. Just go to the away end, applaud the fans. That's it. When we went 4-3 up against Man U with that crazy Palmer double right at the end, he goes nuts and runs into the pitch and goes crazy, and there's this huge moment, and I'm thinking, wow, what an outburst of emotion. He truly loves his job, the club. Like, let's you know, let's enjoy this together. The commentator, the interviewer asked him afterwards, and do you think those kinds of scenes are the kind of thing that can, you know, gel you with the Chelsea fans? He immediately goes, no, I'm not a clown. I'm not going to earn their respect by jumping around like a clown. And it's like, there's just, the answer to that could also be, yeah, what a great scene, you know, I'm feeling more connected to the fans. Or even something more neutral, like, I don't know about connection, but hey, I just couldn't, you know, I couldn't hold in the emotions. What a game. But he always seems to go on that kind of defensive view that he's not connected to the fans, that he's still building that connection. So we're seeing so many things improve from him, from the way that he's setting up the team, the tactics he's using, the subs he's doing, and also the way that he's performing himself on the side of the pitch, really engaging with the team. I just wish that if he truly was wanting to build this connection with the fans, he would do little things to connect with the fans. Just go out and applaud them. Just say that they were brilliant today. You know, I don't know. There's just a slight something missing there. And I said it in the last video, I'm not sure if he's the guy that's going to take us forward into a long-term successful relationship. Maybe we should give him another season, or at least, like I said in the last video, 6 games, 5-6 games, and the preseason, see how he does without all these injuries, and hopefully with a motivated squad after the Euros. But it's going to take a little bit of time and a bit more effort, I would say, on his part to connect with the fans. The fans are there trying to enjoy the moments. Just come out and applaud once, just do it. But he seems to almost like he's got this die-hard view that he's just completely indifferent with the fans, and at some point that's going to just materialize. He's using every possible opportunity to not connect or to be defensive. So it's an ever so slight negative message, I suppose, to end this video. But let's not forget what a fantastic result that was. What a huge comeback. To go down to a Hudson-Odoi goal, I thought it was over, and yet we turned it around. We saw 2 brilliant goals. We saw good attacking play. Reece James is back. Everything is cool. And I can't wait to be with you guys again on the channel for the next video. So thank you very much for watching. It's an absolute pleasure to do this video today here with you. If you like the content that you're seeing, you're a Chelsea fan, you're a football fan, you're a rival fan, whoever you are, there's going to be much more content getting published on this channel. Chelsea related, football related, but also other stuff. So definitely watch this space. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you get all the content first. And apart from that, I just want to say thank you very much to the new subscribers. It's really nice to have you on board, and I'm definitely going to keep making content, and we can build a really nice, cool community here. So get involved. Thank you very much. That's all from me. I'm Sandy Jones with The Sandy Jones Show. I'll see you next time.